Are live, and if I say this one more time, people are just gonna think that I'm just making this stuff up, but I'm sitting with another dear friend. This must be Dear Friend Day at the I Am Winter Solstice Symposium, because Carol and I go way back to this contest called, what was it called? The
Top spiritual author.
Oh yeah, the next top spiritual author competition. And even my editor, Raven, who's still with me, 10, 12, 14 years later, I'm not even sure how long it was, we met there, because what happened was this publisher had this grand idea about how to increase their mailing list by hundreds of thousands of people. And they got all of us authors excited about, we wanted to do a book. And so we promoted them. They got their 250,000 emails, and one lucky person won the contest. Well, that's not true. One lucky person won the contest. She turned down the book deal, which to this day, I still don't understand why she did that. But the rest of us stopped calling it a competition, and we called it a cooperation. And what it did was it cooperated the whole next generation of authors who were just getting started in their spiritual work at that time. And we're talking over a decade ago. And many of us have become really good friends, and we support each other as we move through these times. So if you're just coming up now, and I recommend finding a way to connect with other people who are at the same level, or, a step above, a couple steps above you, because that's going to be the source of the people. Because trust me, when I wrote Winds of Spirit, the gatekeepers, the guardians of the publishing world did not roll over and say, "Hey, Renee, come on, join us on the big stages." When I got the Hay House thing, I thought, oh, now I'm going to be, at the Tell It Like It Is live in Florida and the other stuff. And it was a heartbreak situation for me, that I thought I had made it. And really what I had made was that I brought this body of work into the world that was significant. And, the executive, the vice president of editing, knew that what I brought in was significant enough that they published it. Now it has the Hay House. And so I think you could buy it, because this is a really great symposium, and it'd be really great to support me in this way. And let's see, Winds of Spirit at the top of the number 1 at the charts today would make my heart sing. And I think that's enough. These presentations all day long have been really great. And if you were looking for Michelle's, I've taken it down off of YouTube because it was so powerful that the sounds of the wind whistles didn't come through. So I had to reblow the wind whistles. We're going to edit it in, and I'm going to release it as one of my favorites of the IM, because maybe because it had the wind in there. I loved it. And then if you didn't hear Amy go talk about how she developed a cooperating relationship with horses, anyone who is shamanic in nature should go back and listen. There were so many presentations. I was here for 12 hours yesterday, and so there's a lot. So my suggestion is to go over to windwork.org, buy the wisdom collection, because I very rarely get to sit for a whole symposium. And let me tell you, sitting for a whole symposium, taking in all of this information, I'm going to have to go back and do the journeys later. And both the cat and I are like, okay, we're full. So I'm suggesting that you're probably getting full too. So just buy the collection. This is a different kind of symposium, because you're all being held by the light, there's 1,500 people in this symposium. And this morning when I was doing, I forget with Erica, I could see all the fire tenders and all of their lights all around the world. And that container makes the healings more powerful, makes the journeys more powerful, makes the presentations sparkle. And I don't say that because it's this thing that I built and hold. I'm saying this because I'm sitting here bearing witness, holding space with you and all of the speakers. And let me tell you, this is a powerhouse lineup. There's been Heyoka, there's been chaotic winds, and the light prevails. That's my soapbox. Now I'm going to turn it over to Carol and let her talk about herself and her book, because we all ended up publishing books from this thing too. Oh,
Which
speaking of,
was the lovely part of it. Um,
can I just say one more thing about a book?
sure.
I'm thinking about doing an anthology next year with my editor. And so if you're thinking about publishing a book and you want to start with a chapter, which all of us did, I believe, reach out to me and tell me about that you're thinking about that you maybe want to contribute a chapter, and I'll send you about the costs and stuff. We haven't totally formalized it, but it's a great way to get your first name in a book in a bookstore. That's all from me.
That's great. Thank you, Renee. I mean, this is always such an honor for me to join this beautiful gathering. I think I've been here, I don't know, it might be my sixth year. I was trying to figure it out before we started, and I couldn't quite remember exactly how many years. But Renee and I have been doing this together. I've been fortunate to join the group. And what she said about um, buying the package, what I like is this is like a flood of energy, and if you have the package, you can go back and take sips. And maybe people are at a time that you miss that you can't get a review it. So I highly recommend taking the time to be able to work with these. And I want to thank Renee for creating this space for wisdom and reflection and connection and journeying, because it it's a nice break, a nice time away, which is part of what I'm going to talk about today. Um, Let me just tell you a little bit about myself before I dive any further in. My name is Carol Woodliff. I have been walking the path of healer coach for over 20 years. I started as a hypnotherapist, and my practice quickly became journeyings and spiritual visualizations as opposed to the traditional hypnotherapy like quitting smoking and habit control, which is totally great, but it's like spirit was leading me to this journeying and helping people with their issues on a deeper level, on a spiritual level, and connecting to who they truly were as souls. And in that leading, I got led to study with the Four Winds Society and then deepen my wisdom in Andean mountain traditions and South American traditions. So I've been walking that path since 2010. I wrote a book, as Renee said, called From Scared to Sacred, which was about me balancing being human and having, that connection to the voice within the greater spirit voice, and how we dance with both of those. I personally like to be very grounded and present in the real world, and I don't want my spirituality path to knock me out of having empathy and compassion, and that for people when they're struggling, and myself when I'm struggling. So, From Scared to Sacred came out in 2012. It was self published. It's really a journey of listening to my own internal voice while I was dealing with the decline and ultimate death of my mother. So, healing ancestral relationships, healing with my mother, healing how I saw spiritual beings, and that versus very strict dogmatic to much more compassionate and loving. So, if you want to check it out, I think if you're on Amazon Kindle Unlimited, you can check it out for free. And otherwise, the Kindle is very reasonable, and the book is too. So that's enough of my little self promotion for now. I want to talk today about deepening. And first thing I want to thank is all the fire tenders who are tending fire right now and who are allowing this collective energetic space for deepening, for going deeper into our connections, to learning some things, maybe deepening a connection with a new aspect, um, because I think this sort of symposium is all about deepening our connections to spirit, our connections to each other, and our personal medicine. Um, so I want to start with a quote by Rumi that got me thinking. And it's, maybe you are searching among the branches for what only appears in the roots. Maybe you are searching among the branches for what only appears in the roots. One could interpret that many ways, but for me, it means maybe we're busy looking at how things look in the outside world and those appearances when a deeper set of connections could sustain us. So, several months ago, I was having a day, one of those human days, and I was looking at the news and I was thinking, wow, humanity hasn't progressed very far, have we? And then I was looking at my life and I was kind of beating myself up. And it was really a moment that I was focusing on what wasn't working, even though a lot of things in my life were working. It was just that moment where I was off course. And I kept saying, what do I do? What do I do where I am right now? What do I do? And then a voice inside my head, one of the committee inside my head said, well, you chose to be here at this time. You know, there's that thought that on a spiritual plane, we all had a contract and we chose to be here. And my response, because I was cranky, was, what was I thinking? Why did I choose this life, this thing? Why did I choose this? Why did I accept this assignment? And if I'm here right now, what is it that I'm supposed to be doing? And as often when I get cranky like this and I get a little anxious, I know that taking a walk will help me. So I took my dog Luna and we went out on a walk. And one of my things that I like to do is just really look at the beautiful gardens, the beautiful trees that are in my neighborhood every day as a meditation that the world works, that things are nourished, that beauty exists, that we are supported. So I'm out taking this walk. As an aside, if you like to see photos of that sort of nature, you can follow me on Instagram on Shaman on the Walk, because primarily there I share photos just of what I see on my walks that are beautiful, interesting, intriguing, mysterious, etc. But I'm out on this walk and I figuratively throw my hands up to the universe and I say, what? What do you want me to do? You tell me, what do you want me to do? And what I heard was deepen. Deepen. And when I asked for more information, I heard deepen your roots. A tree with deep roots is less likely to be uprooted by the strong winds of change. Deepen your practice. Deepen your relationships. Deepen into what you already know and deepen into the mystery of what you know not. Deepen. I had to get my phone out and record that so that I would have it. And I felt honestly a little called out because while I had been doing healing work with clients, book coaching work with clients, helping them, having spirit beautifully meet me in this sacred practice of holding space for others, I hadn't been doing too well at really feeding my own connections. I always say that my guides and teachers at times on the other side of the veil are sitting there going, do you think she's going to check in with us? Do you think she's going to check in with us at any time besides when she needs us or when she's working with someone else? Is she going to check in with herself, with us for herself? So I was like, okay, what do I need to do? Thank God they are petty, those spiritual benefactors and guides that they're like, okay, she's back. We're going to help her. She's asked again. Here you go. So, you know, we're human. We get pulled off our path. We have so much going on. We have real world things to take care of. A day job, a job that has deadlines, or family members who need help. And it's important to come back and take time like this seminar, our journeys here, our holding ceremony, to come back into a deepening. And when I looked at the ways I could deepen for myself, it was more ceremony, being more committed to my personal journey of writing and art, developing deeper relationships with family and friends, and my commitment to movement, to being in my body. I often get in my head and I'm just head and spirit, and I need to ground into my body. So those were the things that came to me as practices I could deepen. And the connections we crave, for the most part, aren't surface connections, right? I mean, we want deeper friendships, and we want to know that when we are in that spiritual realm, that we have a relationship with, be it our ancestors, our guides. We want to feel supported, the divine, however you name that. We want to know that we have that connection. And if we're not nurturing that connection, if we're not deepening that connection, when we most need it, it's harder for us to connect with. It's harder for us to find it when we're in that panic. I thank those daily walks for helping me connect to spirit, to helping me connect with life works, for helping me see the little miracles of everyday life. And, when we want to deepen, each one of us has a different thing, a different aspect of life or others that we might want to focus on, that we might want to look at. And as always happens when I'm getting ready to work on a presentation or talk about something, little things start popping up. The meme I see on Facebook, the article I see somewhere else. And I saw this little cartoon that said, it was like two characters. I'll post it in the Wind Clan. It says, "Aren't you terrified of what 2024 could bring? Everything's so messed up." And the second character goes, "I think it will bring flowers." And the other character goes, "Yes? Why?" And the other character says, "Because I'm planting flowers." And I think in coming into the idea of deepening our practice, deepening our medicine, deepening our connections, we're planting flowers, and we're tending them, and we're growing them, and we're allowing the roots of those flowers to go deeper, the roots of our tree, the roots of who we are. We're tending to the roots. We're tending to our relationships with our ancestors. We're tending to the relationship, to the lineage of whatever spiritual tradition we are following. So this whole solstice gathering can be a time to deepen, to answer a call, to have a deeper experience spiritually, emotionally, in relationships. The people who are holding those altars of light are deepening their personal experience of the winds and of the energy of light, because they're working with it. What I love about the shamanic path that I follow and that other people follow is that it's a path of experience. And if you don't give yourself time to have the experience and deepen the experience, you're missing out. And kind of to tell on myself again, I used to hold monthly ceremonies here at my home, and I would have anywhere from, 2 people to 15 or 20 people come, and we would do a despacho, which is a prayer bundle in the Caro tradition from South America, and then we would take that to a fire ceremony. And I had so many of these, and so many magical things started to happen the more and more ceremony we did on my land. Um, One night we were all around the fire in my backyard, and someone said, "Look." And from every tree, the spiders had dropped all around us. There were spiders with us as we were weaving that energetic web. And they stayed with us for the whole fire ceremony. And when we closed sacred space on the fire ceremony, we looked around and they were all gone. And when we deepen our practice, those miracles or nods from the universe or the spiritual world so often happen. And we need those nods to remember the magic when we're going through a challenging time. Like, yes, that magic exists. Yes, I can deepen into that. So I want to encourage you not to worry if you're new to this calling of like shamanic energy. You still have a spiritual tradition. You still have things you can do to deepen. It isn't saying you have to do a fire ceremony. But if you're called to do fire ceremonies, either with candles or actually with fire outside, do it with intention. See if you can deepen the practice of it and see what happens. See what magic, see what you notice in your heart, in your body, and around you in the world as you hold that space. So COVID happened and I stopped having in-person ceremonies. And I haven't gotten back into the groove of hosting those community ceremonies. And when I was working on this, the knock to do more ceremony, to do more work, to do more of that kind of community gathering of connection with spirit through community came to me. And I was like, okay, I've got to answer that call. So when we have these solid, deep connections to good, supportive friends, to spirit, to community, we can handle those shifts and changes. And we can also be a grounding influence for others. I want to talk just a little bit about personal medicine. Some people talk about shamans, people walking the path, as medicine people. But I believe we're all medicine people. I believe we all have different medicines we bring to the world. One of my friends jokes with me that one of my medicines is being practical Carol, because she calls me every time she can't figure out how to do something, and she'll say, "Practical Carol, can you help me? I don't know, I don't even know where to look. I don't know what to do." And I'm like, "Oh, that's simple." And I Google it and I give her some information, and she's like, or I just give her information because I know the thing, and she's like, "Thank you, Practical Carol. I count on you for being, that person in the world." And sometimes we take for granted our personality traits that other people count on, and we can nurture that as medicine and be thankful that we were given those skills. So, what's your medicine? Is it being a kind person out in the world? Is it how you find things funny? Is it um, is it doing healing work? Is it being a teacher? We all have medicine we can bring to the world, and that deepening of commitment to bringing our medicine to the world is, I think, what we're being called to do with that word deepen. Deepen. How do you accept and love yourself in all your humanity and what gifts you have? How do you deepen those? So I'm going to go through a few places where you potentially might want to deepen, but then we're going to throw it all in a pot and you're going to forget about everything I talked about other than the things that resonate for you. Because deepening doesn't mean giving you an assignment that you have to attend to 1,000 plates spinning all right now. The journey we're going to go on is, what do you need to deepen today? What could be the things that you could work on in the next month or so? What is your heart, your soul, your spirit calling you to deepen? That's where we're going. But first, let's just talk about, there's this commitment I talked about. to a deeper spiritual understanding. And how would you come to that? So if you were going to commit to deepening your spiritual practice or your spiritual understanding, what might you do there? It might be ceremonies, like I talked about. It might be meditations, journaling, journeying. It might be pulling some inspirational books and reading. It might be a commitment to a specific medicine path, like the wind and your wind whistle. It might be a connection to a traditional path, saying I want to work more with, a particular religion, a particular faith. Whatever calls to you, this is individual. This is not Carol telling you which of these you have to do. Another is a commitment to nature, being out, doing walks, seeing what's going on, doing a wind walk, for those of you who are familiar with that term. Just turn my notes so I make sure I don't miss anything here. Just noticing what's going on in the seasons where you live. What's slowing down? What's blooming? I live in the Los Angeles area, and what I find so interesting here is we have both a lot of seasons going on at once. Right now, the trees are dumping fall leaves, but the paper whites, which would be a spring flower, are coming out. So it's just to notice the rhythm of the land on which you live right now. It can be following Thich Nhat Hanh's statement of kissing the earth with each step, blessing the earth with each step. Thich Nhat Hanh was a Buddhist monk, and he said, let every step you have bless the earth. So just taking a conscious walk, and that every step you're connecting with the earth and saying thank you and love. It can be tending to your garden, literally. It could be supporting a cause for nature, for Mother Earth. And it can be things like being more conscious in our spending of what we buy and what the repercussions are, how we dispose of it. And I'm sure you can think of a number of other reasons, other aspects of how you might connect with nature. And then, as I mentioned before, the third area is deepening your relationships. Relationship with self, relationship with others. Where can you deepen your relationships? I had a dear friend from college, so it's a friend of over 40 years, pass away suddenly in April. And she was the friend, Kathy was the friend, that no matter how long it had been since we talked, when we got on the phone, it was like there was not a break at all in the time, even it had been 2 or 3 months. But her death made me realize that I didn't want my close friendships to go 2 or 3 months before I checked in with them. And what it allowed me to do is reach out to a couple friends and set something up regularly, weekly, monthly, where we checked in and we had deeper conversations rather than the texting conversations, sending each other memes or thought you might like this, but a real deep connection, heart to heart. So, who in your life would you like to deepen a relationship with? And don't leave yourself out of that equation. When I say don't leave yourself out of that equation, is there something in your personal health that you want to deepen your relationship with? Cooking more healthful food, moving your body in a better way to, really take care of yourself. And the last one is deepening your connection to your medicine, to the world. I talked about that earlier. Like, what is your medicine? Can you think of the things that might be your medicine? The obvious one is a healing practice or a coaching practice or that. And I know we have a number of healers and coaches that are listening. But as I said, is it your humor, your kindness, bringing peace to the world can be just being here in this moment, being a peaceful person, being peaceful in the mess that happens sometimes at the holidays where everyone's jockeying and trying to get somewhere. When I have to go out to stores at this time of year, and I know it's going to be crazy, my goal is to not let anything make me angry. Just to be the person for that cashier who says, wow, you're having a hard day, aren't you? Really tough stuff. Rather than being another person who goes, it took me 20 minutes to check out. That's being a person of peace and bringing that small little bit of love and deepening that in the world. So, okay, I've done enough lecturing and enough talking, and I want you to have the opportunity to figure out what it is that you would like to deepen in your life, what you would like to set an intention for just the next few weeks. Don't make it a big, I've got to change my life. No, just what intention, what would you like to deepen through this holiday season? What would you like to do? So I'm going to take you on a journey, and if you're going to get settled and that, I'm going to reach around behind me here. And let's take a few nice deep breaths. Let's connect with Mother Earth. Imagine that you're sending roots down through Mother Earth right now from your feet and your tailbone and connecting in with her. And breathe and see, don't push your breath, but see if you can deepen your breath a little bit, so that your stomach is moving in and out as you breathe. And then set an intention to connect with the light that's being held by all these beautiful fire tenders, and the light that wants to enter this circle. And take a few deep breaths there. Something's on my singing bowl here. There we go. And as you listen to that sound, just settle in and allow yourself to go deeper into your breath, into your belly. Call upon your guides, your wisdom keepers, your ancestors, the angels to join you. We ask the angelic presence, those guides, to hold space of safety and security, to go before us, to be behind us, to our right, to our left, above us and below us. And visualize, imagine, or pretend that you're taking a walk into a forest. And notice the sounds of the forest, the fragrances. And you're heading deep into the forest to find your mother tree. The one with the really deep roots and sheltering branches. Walk and allow yourself to find her. Ask her to help you embrace the mystery of deepening, to find the answer to the question, what is it right now within me that can deepen? What practice or experience would help me deepen? Imagine sitting with your tree on her root bed and asking for her assistance. And then sinking down into the earth, following one of those roots to take you to a magical cave deep within the earth, where the answer to your question, how do I deepen, will be revealed in an image, in a word, in an experience. Allow yourself to follow the route to the cave. Take your time. Explore and be open. You might ask, is there something I need to let go of in order to deepen? What is my medicine right now for the world? Perhaps this cave leads you even deeper into Mother Earth as you follow her pathways. Allow yourself to listen to your heart and your wisdom about what you can do right now as you explore. Is it finding a spot to sit? Or is it actively exploring? Follow your knowledge, your intuition, what feels right for you. What do you need out of this experience? What's the message, the image, the gift? Give yourself a few minutes now just to gather the information that you need before we begin the journey back. Ask Mother Tree to call to you, to send vibration, to guide you back to this time and place, sitting at her roots again. Perhaps with your back against her bark. And before we make the journey back to this time and place, say thank you to Mother Tree, Mother Earth, your guides, your teachers, your ancestors, for sharing this journey with you. Coming back, opening your eyes gently, coming back into your body, stretching. And I'll be really honored to know how the journey was for you, what you might have learned, what you might have thought of as we had our discussion today. I'm very, very glad to have joined you. And I think we can all benefit from thinking about deepening, about thinking about how we can show up as ourselves, as we are human, and what we can deepen within ourselves and in our community to help this new world birth. It starts with planting seeds. And those flowers, that little cartoon that I was talking to you about, we can plant flowers today. We can plant seeds of the new world. We can envision it, we can dream it, and we can plant it, and we can grow and deepen it within ourselves. Thank you. It's been my honor to join you and work with you today. Have a happy holiday.
Thank you. That was so nice.
Thank you.
I actually was at the beach last week planting seeds.
Were you?
Wildflowers. In fact, in the opening, we were talking about that, about this vernalization, that you have to plant seeds at the solstice so that they know when to grow in the spring. So this was perfectly aligned, and I'm honored that you were so in tuned. So thank you very much, and we will.
You're welcome, and it's always my honor to do, to join and to be able to, see what spirit wants me to share. I didn't have anything prepackaged, and I was like, "What do you want me to share?" And they were like, "That deepening thing," and I'm like, "Okay."
All right, we'll start thinking about next year because it's the age of Aquarius, and let's make it year 8 for you or whatever it is.
Yeah, I don't know, but I'm also an Aquarian, so it's my year, right?
All right. Thank everyone, and stay tuned, and we will see you